As a man, what do you want in a woman? Do you want to get married to a virgin, or do you want to get married to a decent woman? Or do you think you need the full package? You want her to be decent and at the same time a virgin. But whatsoever your answer seems to be, hold on tight and let's get to the story of the day. Many years ago, in the beautiful city of Abuja, there lived a very beautiful family, Mr. and Mrs. Tega. Mr. and Mrs. Tega are pastors. They owned a very big church that was doing well. They preached very well and they made people believe in Christ. Their congregation loved their preaching, not because it was too out of the range, but because they preached more about salvation. In fact, the parish was known for its uniqueness. It was not that church that wants to rip off lots of money from your pocket. It was that church that makes you understand the Bible. So people went to the church to actually learn about Christ. Mr. and Mrs. Tega had a son, Wilson. Wilson was given all the privileges of life, as Wilson was the only child they ever had. Wilson, on the other part, while growing up, had these serious anger issues. Wilson was that child that would act up the moment he was angry. Wilson could kill a bird for doing something that offended him. In fact, Wilson had a very serious psychotic issue that couldn't be properly managed by anyone. Mr. and Mrs. Tega had tried everything necessary. They had tried everything they could to make sure that Wilson lived a stable life, a life that was perfect, a life that was according to the will of God. Even while Wilson was always visiting the hospital, Mr. and Mrs. Tega had advised him to give up on engineering, stating that probably he might be angry one day and hit one of his co-workers with a plier or something. They had told him that since you love Christ, why not tend to the will of God? Why not follow the footsteps that we have created for you? You don't have to be angry when you're in church because nobody is coming directly to you to make you offended. When Wilson gave this a deep thought, having realized that he had acted up in so many ways when he was in school, he came to a final conclusion that he was going to follow the footsteps of his parents. He was going to start preaching and learning more about Christ. Wilson did all necessary classes that was involved in being a pastor. He did the discipleship class. He did everything. And within a short period of time, Wilson was known for his excellent way of explaining the Bible. In fact, most youths preferred Wilson explaining the Bible rather than his father. Wilson had a way of preaching and singing at the same time, trying to make it look like he was actually in the scene when it was happening. When Wilson preaches, he attached a music that was in line with what he was preaching. Even the elderly always wanted to listen to him. But one unique thing about Wilson was the moment he was done preaching, he left the pulpit immediately. He did not want someone to utter a word that was going to make him angry. He avoided anything that was going to make him angry. Gradually, it was time for Wilson to get married. His parents kept on putting pressure on him to pick a wife. Wilson was a bit scared, skeptical, concerned, and he was all over the place. But he felt well that he knew what was wrong with him, and he knew that this was something he had to communicate with his partner on time so that he doesn't act up in front of them. But at the same time, his friends had advised him not to quickly rush into it, being that the moment you start telling someone, oh, I easily get angry, and when I'm angry, I act up, you might chase the person away. What if that person was meant to be with you? His parents had also advised him that it was something you gradually communicate. His mom told him, you chip it in little by little. You don't go there disgracing yourself and stating it. You gradually know this person, be ready you want to get married to this person, and when you're 100% sure that she is your wife, you gradually chip in this anger issue of yours to the person. Don't go telling anybody you have anger issue. If not, it's going to be the talk of the town and the talk of the church. You should guide your spiritual and your private life. Don't make it known to the whole world. Moreover, you see different faces every day. Do you know what is wrong with them? You don't. So be very, very careful. You don't have to use the fact that you have anger issue as a reason not to get married. Don't you want to be a father someday? I see the way you play with kids in the teenage section. So you should also aspire to be a father. After he was done talking to his parents, he had given this a deep thought. He genuinely loved children. But the fact that he always got angry at little instances made him not really sure he was ready yet. But he told himself that it was better to give it a try. There was no need of giving up when you've not even tried. So Wilson gradually started making interest in different people in the church. But one thing Wilson was looking for was a virgin. He was very, very specific about it. The moment he gets talking with a lady, the very first thing he asks them, "Are you a virgin?" Before he even starts asking about your spiritual life, "Are you a virgin?" That was the very first thing Wilson was going to ask. Most ladies obviously told him no. Even the ones that were virgin will quickly tell themselves, why is he so really interested in virgin? Is he using them for something? But Wilson did not give up. He knew that he wanted to get married to a virgin, as he was also a virgin. So he did not want someone to come and teach him anything he was not yet ready for. And he didn't want someone to tell him how he wasn't good on bed. He knew that when two naive people meet, life was going to move one step at a time. He didn't want someone to mount pressure on him. He didn't want anybody to make him feel less of a man. He really wanted to get married to a novice like him when it comes to bedmatics. So one fateful day, after the close of church for that day, he had met this beautiful, elegant, shining lady, Janet. She was part of the chorister in the church. He walked up to Janet and he made his interest known. While communicating with Janet, he particularly told Janet that he was interested in her and he needed to know if she was a virgin. Janet quickly told him that yes, she was a virgin and she was okay with the fact that he was interested in her. Wilson was glad. Wilson had finally found someone. So, Janet and Wilson always kept in touch, gradually checking up on each other, trying to get to know one another. Wilson never stated the fact that he had an anger issue because he needed to know more about Janet before telling her that he had anger issue. But with the passing days, Janet enjoyed the company of Wilson. Janet is also from a very wealthy and influential home. Her parents were deacon and deaconesses in the church. They had attained the highest heights when it comes to ministering in the church. And Janet, on the other part, wasn't really a virgin, you know. Janet was a very nasty child when she was little. She had flexed and enjoyed her life to the fullest while she was in the university. In fact, she was a non-party rider. But after so much backlash, after she had faced a lot of terrible sins, she repented and returned back to Christ. So the moment she knew that Wilson was very, very serious about getting married to her, she quickly called her friend Reby and told Reby that she had someone that was interested in her. And this person wants to get married to a virgin. Reby obviously knew that Janet wasn't a virgin. And Reby told her, do not worry about all those things. My dear, there is something I can recommend for you. No one will ever catch you. Like nobody will catch you. And even nobody is going to know that you're not even a virgin. Janet was at peace with herself. She believed everything her friend had told her. And with the passing days, she quickly went to meet Reby at her home for Reby to tell her everything necessary she had to do in order to be a virgin again. Reby quickly told her, you know, there are some exercises you have to do. This exercise now will help to tighten the vaginal wall. Then, there's a pill I'm going to give to you. This particular pill now, you have to take it on your wedding night. Gone. When you take this pill on your wedding night, when your husband sleep with you, blood will show. That's the main thing. No? That is the main thing. The thing that men used to define virginity is that blood stain. Janet was really excited. She was glad. She didn't even know that something like this was existed. But she was glad that she had someone that was going to help to open her eyes towards all these things. So after a few months of marriage class, getting to know the family, traditional marriage, the white wedding proper had taken place. Wilson and Janet got married in the most beautiful, luxurious way. In fact, it was the talk of the town. Like, the pastor's son was getting married. The preacher's son was getting married. He was someone that most ladies wanted to get married to. He had everything. He was built. He spoke well. And not just that, he was doing well for himself. That evening, as planned, Wilson and Janet had gone to their hotel room to first pass the night before traveling for the honeymoon. So the moment they got to the hotel room, Janet quickly went to the bathroom and took the pill her friend Reby had given to her. And she tried everything possible to get Wilson to sleep with her. But Wilson wasn't interested as he was already exhausted with everything that happened in the wedding. They greeted so much guests that he was really, really tired. He told Janet that please, he was tired and would love to have a bath and go to bed. He told Janet that they could always do it any other time. Now they were married, they had each other all to themselves. Janet was a bit tense as this pill, she had just one. And if she missed her luck on this, she might end up traveling for her honeymoon without even getting to see Reby to give her another one. The pill had cost her a lot, so she didn't want to miss her chance in any way. But there was nothing she could do, and she couldn't force herself on Wilson. Wilson quickly had his bath and went to bed. She had her bath and also went to bed. But when Wilson had woken up in the night, he prayed and was working on his laptop. Janet also woke up and even went to hug him. Unknown to her, the pill that Reby had given to her had already broken and the blood stain was very tiny. It was not even obvious. Had already stained her nightie. While they were communicating, Wilson decided to sleep with his dearest beloved wife, Janet. But the moment he started, he found out that she was not a virgin. She was loose, and he got down immediately. He felt irritated, and he quickly asked her, "Sister Janet, are you a virgin?" Janet was still standing to the fact that she was a virgin because she felt that the pill had not yet broken. Wilson said, "No, please answer me. Are you a virgin?" And Janet said yes. But the moment she realized that that pill was not going to work, she quickly knelt down and apologized to Wilson, stating that she was not a virgin. Wilson looked at her and told her, "You lose harlot. How dare you lie to me? How dare you deceive me and tell me that you're a virgin? So all you wanted was to bear the name pastor's wife? Don't you have any shame? Don't you even have regards for your family? It was better you had told me you're not a virgin. Do you know how many ladies I had gone to and they openly told me they were not? So why do you think you're so special? I was very, very sincere with you. I told you I wanted to get married to a virgin. Please and please, you're nothing but a harlot to me." These words got to Janet. Why was Winston calling her a harlot? She was not a virgin, so what? Does that mean she's a harlot? What does Wilson mean by the word harlot? So she stood up and told Wilson, "Please, don't call me that. That I'm not a virgin doesn't make me a harlot. That I told you that I was doesn't also make me a harlot. If you're angry, good and fine, you can walk away. But don't stand here insulting me." And out of anger, Wilson gave her a very big punch on her face. And the moment he did that, he tried to call himself to order, knowing fully well that if he doesn't do that, he was going to lose it. He tried walking away, but as usual, Janet was still running her mouth and saying whatever she wanted to say. Wilson turned and kept on punching. He punched her so hard that Janet gave up the ghost immediately. Wilson tried to shake her the moment he realized that she wasn't breathing. He was panicking, he was scared, he didn't know what to do. He shook her and shook her, but Janet was not moving. That was when it dawned on him that he had killed his wife on his wedding night. Wilson quickly picked up some clothes and fled. With no information of where he was going to, he did not say a word to his parents or Janet's parents. The next morning, the room service had come to knock on the door as Janet and Wilson were supposed to lodge out that day by 12 o'clock in order to book their flight for honeymoon. But they did not see anyone coming out of the room, and they've not heard any word from anyone, and they knew that no one clocked out earlier than that. They knocked and knocked and knocked, No one was coming out. No one was responding. They called the room number and no one was picking up. At that point, they had to involve the management of the hotel, who used his spare key to open the door. Lo and behold, they had found Janet lying on the cold floor, dead. They quickly tried to reach out to the family members that were viewed as next of kin or someone they could contact. They called Wilson's parents and that of Janet's parents. Janet's parents felt pained. They felt devastated. And they dropped Christianity aside and they quickly lashed out on Mr. and Mrs. Tega. They lashed out on Mr. and Mrs. Tega, stating that their son had used their daughter for ritual. How can a man kill his wife on his wedding night? Who does that? Please, and up till today, no one have seen Wilson because Wilson is still on a run. Please, I would like you to share your thoughts on the story. Tell me what you think about this. Do you think Wilson took it over the board? Do you think Wilson would have acted in a different way? Do you think that Wilson would have patiently walked out of that room, resisting the devil, resisting the other punch he landed on Janet? Share your thoughts on the comment section. We still remain your favorite storyteller, Zika. Please and please do not forget to support your homegirl by liking our stories, sharing our stories to your loved one. So we'll see you again in our next story. Bye for now.